welcome. I am sitting here with one of my friends, Mirelle, who has an amazing story to tell about some ministry where she was praying and hiking and doing some awesome stuff in Ireland and parts like that. So she knows what it is to be in those extraordinary places, but then you also know that there's a time where you have to come home.
Yes.
And it's hard to come home.
Yes.
When your heart is still in those exceptional places, and you have to come back to the ordinary time. And so Mirelle's going to talk with us today a little bit about her experience, and then she's going to talk about how that transition back into ordinary time has happened, and some peaks and some valleys about continuing to grow in the ordinary time, like we've been talking about all summer. And then, after worship's over, or maybe as we tag on to it, what she plans to do next with that ministry and how we can be a part of that to support her. So I'm not going to take up too much more time. You're going to talk and you're going to tell us all we need to know, right? About the amazing stuff that you've been doing, not only in the exciting times, but also in the times that aren't so glamorous, right? Is that fair to say?
Absolutely.
Excellent. And Mirelle is a person after my own heart, where she loves Chaco sandals, hiking, and everything else. So we are kindred spirits as we shoot this video at summer camp. So I'm going to turn it over to her, and she's going to blow our minds. Okay.
So I think the first thing to start off with would just be talking about the organization that I've worked for and that I'm going to be working for, which is Youth with a Mission, or how we call it YWAM. I'm a YWAMer, and I really, really love it. But our goal is to know God and to make God known. And I would have never ever expected that I would have been able to have that kind of opportunity to be able to leave my family and my community at 18 years old, as soon as I was able to be an adult, and to travel across the world to a culture I've never been to, and just taking a leap of faith. We were at our Thanksgiving break with our family, and we were applying to colleges way too late. And my dad came upon the school University of the Nations, which is a part of YWAM. He's like, Mirelle, you could do this discipleship training school, bringing it up again, even though people had always been bringing it up these past few months. And it's like, here I am hearing about it again. He's like, you could go to a different country and just do missions for a few months. And I was like, all right, let's do it. So I started looking at the schools, all the countries that I could go to, because Youth with a Mission is in over 208 countries all over the world. And I had so many options. So I was like, all right, let's look at all these things. And at first I wanted to go to Belize, because it looked like a really, really great campus, and it also just had a regular discipleship training school, because there's different types of discipleship training schools you can go to. But God really just kept bringing me back to one in Ireland, which is an arts and media school. And when I was first thinking about it, I was like, oh, I'm not artsy, that's not really my thing. But it was more of I didn't want to express myself in that kind of way, because I was insecure about really showing my feelings in a very artistic way. But God told me, he's like, no, Mirelle, you need to go on this school, and this is the one you're going to go to. And I'm like, okay, God, let's just go. So I applied to the school the last day that I could, and I received my visa the day before I left. And thank goodness my dad had a lot of airline points, or my airline ticket would have been very, very expensive. So I got there and I had no idea what I was expecting, but I was like, God, I'm here, let's get started. And that was just the beginning of a life-changing, incredible adventure where God really just showed me his most intimate and beautiful ways of just loving me and who I am and how to love his people. We also have Youth Club, which is one of my favorite ministries that we have, which is really awesome because whenever God first started calling me to Ireland, I was really conflicted, because I've always felt like I was supposed to be a youth pastor and I love youth ministry. But then God was really calling me to Ireland and its people and all the different ministries that they have. And I was like, what really happened was whenever I was in mid-lecture outreach, outreach, because discipleship training school is like 3 months of lecture and then 2 months of outreach. So we were in Donegal helping with an Amazing Grace Festival with 2 really good friends that we had. And it was just, I was having time alone with God one morning, and I was just like, God, I need some clarity. I don't understand what I'm supposed to be doing after this. I'm supposed to be going to my supposed to be going to college, but I just don't feel like I belong there anymore. I just need something. And God showed me this picture in my mind of the Ross Monument, which is in Ross River, and there was a sunset behind it, and I heard the words, "Come home." And that was just the beginning of God just reassuring me that to just give up my plans and just follow what He wanted for me. And so a big part of that, which has made me see how God is just really loving and sees what we really, really care about, and He uses that for us, because I love youth so much. So when I was in Ireland, I was able to be a part of the youth club there, which I was so happy about. And it was really interesting because I'm used to doing youth ministry with kids who have already been going to church and have grown up in the church. These kids want nothing to do with church. You mention Jesus once and they close down and they don't even talk to you anymore. So it was really challenging for me to be able to try and I really wanted to talk about Jesus with them and be because that's what you would usually do in my kind of circumstance. But I had to find a different way to be able to do that. And one of the ways was this one kid, Adrian, who came every single week, and he was just such an amazing kid. He just graduated high school, started a full-time job of accounting, and I was talking to him, I was like, dude, you're doing so much more than most of the kids your age in America that I know. And I just get all rambling and stuff, and just the encouraging person that I am, I'm like, dude, you're so awesome. And he looks at me and he's like, thanks. It's really nice to be called awesome. And that was just a point where, one of the realizations where it's these kids are coming from homes where their parents and their families are still getting over so much that these kids aren't getting the proper encouragement and proper time to be able to, grow up confident in who they are and how God made them. And another incredible ministry is the boardwalk that we have done this past year. I think is our 3rd year. But what we do is that we walk the border of Northern Ireland from Ross River to Londonderry, or some people call it Derry. And we walk 200 miles in 18 days, and we carry a cross on our back, and we meet with churches every stop of the way, and people sign the cross, and we have worship services, and we just pray for a nation that is broken. And after only 3 years, people still come out of the houses to be able to talk to us along the road. And they're like, oh, we saw you on the news. This is so cool what you're doing. And the incredible moments where we're actually able to pray for them. And really showing these people that we care about their country and we care about how they're feeling and what they're going through. And it's also incredible, you can always focus on all the bad stuff that has happened and all the bad stuff that people are really holding on to. But then you meet all the communities and churches to be able that are trying and working so hard to be able to reconcile. You meet the people that are working so hard to be able to just be it doesn't even matter what denomination you're a part of. It's about focusing on the one true person that brings us together, and that's Jesus. And it's really incredible to be able to meet those people and see those people and really see how hard they're actually working. And I just love that so much. I can't wait to go back and be able to be a part of it again, which has been hard because I was hoping to be able to go this summer. I was actually planning on being back this summer, but that obviously didn't work in my plans. So, because God works in different ways. So even after that whole entire experience of really changing how I saw God and just like really doing mission work and like not looking at yourself and really just seeing how God can really call you to a place, I left. I left a family that I've grown so close to, a country that I fell so much in love with in, and I came back to Maryland, and it was very abrupt because as soon as I came back, my little brother left for Prague, and he was going to college there and doing a soccer school. And then I started college right away because I already signed up for classes. And yeah, it was really weird because I didn't have anyone who had been through the same experience as I did. And I didn't know what I wanted to do. So immediately I was like, I need to start getting ready to go back. And I started like renewing my passport, already started like fundraising and stuff, and was working so hard to be able to leave in May. And whenever I was trying to apply for my visa, I was trying to pay for my health insurance that I needed in Ireland, I was trying to finish my associate's degree, I was trying to spend time with my family and friends, I was actually trying to work part-time and be able to like save money for it and be able to have a sane mind. And I was just being so crazy. I started getting stress acne. I was so stressed with all the stuff that I had to do. And it really just came to the point where people, my friend Maren had been telling me for a long time, it's like, Mirelle, you're not gonna leave in May. You know that, right? And it's like, yes, I am, I'm gonna leave, and I'll prove to you that I'm gonna leave. And it came to the point where I was trying to finish this class that I was already failing because I had to focus on all my other stuff. And it was in the library at my college, and I just started crying, and because all these people were working so hard around me, and I just could not focus my mind to be able to do my work. And I had to leave the building, and I was on the side of the building calling my dad, and I was like, Dad, I can't do this. It's I don't think I can really do it. And he's like, Mirelle, why don't you just leave at the end of the summer? And I was just like, because I don't want to. And that was just a realization of just wow, this is really became about me. And that was God really telling me, he's like, okay, time to slow down and let me show you what I actually want you to do. And it was really hard at first. And it was really funny coming to the day I was supposed to leave, and I was like, I was supposed to leave yesterday, and here I am. And it was really weird. And throughout this whole entire time, I was in this limbo of not doing anything, because I think that it's just God's really providing me for just a rest during this time, which is important. God gives us those periods of rest. But I don't, during this summer, I think God really wanted me to serve. And that's part of being here. I'm Anadokin, and I'm a part of another youth retreat coming up that I was really happy to be a part of. And now being in the middle of still waiting, I can see so much of how God really wants me to be here. As much as I don't want to. I love Anadokin, but I still feel like I'm supposed to be in Ireland. But that's okay, because I know that God's really doing a lot of good work here. Just an hour ago, this one little girl's her high of the day was being in small group with me, and that made me really happy. And that I'm able to really impact these kids, and I'm gonna later next weekend when I actually do the retreat, I'm gonna be able to impact these young adults and just be able to talk to them about my experience and be able to just be with them and impact on them. And I actually have more time to spend time with my friends and family. If I left in May, I would have never seen my extended family actually. Now I'm able to. Now that I'm in the middle of it and looking back, it's just God has such a better, how do I really say this? God's plan is so much better